Alright, this is Unit 1, Formative 1, Day 4, talking about properties of real numbers today. Alright, the first property we're going to talk about is the commutative property of addition and multiplication. Okay, so starting with addition, if we have something like A plus B, the property says that's going to equal B plus A. Okay, so just think like if you commute somewhere, if you're working, let's say you work up in Omaha, you want to go to from Bellevue to Omaha, that's going to be the same distance as from Omaha to Bellevue. Okay, so if we think about this as real numbers, let's say A is 4 and B is 5, we'd have 4 plus 5 equals 5 plus 4. All right, so either way it's going to be 9 there. Okay, same thing with multiplication. If we have A times B, that's going to equal B times A. Alright, so again we can use our 4 and 5 example. 4 times 5 will equal 5 times 4. They'll both be 20 on either side of the equal sign there. Alright guys, the second property we're going to talk about is the associative property of addition and multiplication. Okay, so if you look at the little diagram I made here, we have person A, B, and C, and no matter which way you group them, if you group A and B together first, like we see here, and then add C, that's going to be the same as grouping B and C together and then adding A. Okay, so either way you do this, you'll have 3 people when you're all said and done. Okay, and one way to think about this is, if you remember back to our order of operations, here you can drop the parentheses because all that's left to do is add or subtract. Alright, and that's on the same level on our order of operations. So really, all this is just adding together the 3 people. Alright, so what does the associative property of addition and multiplication look with letters and numbers? Well, it looks like this. We have A, B, and C. A, B, and C. And let's say we have A and B grouped together for the first part. And we know that these are all being added. Okay. That's going to equal A plus the group of B and C added together. Alright, so no matter which way you add them up, they will always have the same sum. Okay, and same thing for the multiplication. So multiplication down here will be like A times B times C equals A times the group of B times C. Okay, they all equal the same thing. Okay, the third property we're going to talk about is the identity property. Okay, we're going to talk about the identity property of both addition and multiplication. Okay, so the identity property of addition, let's say we have a number A here. Okay, what can we add to A to keep it itself so it doesn't change, it keeps its identity? Well, A plus 0, right? A plus 0 is still A. So if we had to think about that with real numbers, if we have 2 plus 0, we still know that that's 2. Okay. Alright, the identity property of multiplication now is the same thing. So if we have A times what is going to give us A again, give us its identity? Well, A times 1, right? A times 1 is still A. Okay, if we think about it with our 2 again, 2 times 1 is still 2. One way to think about this is that you have one group of 2, or one group of A, and therefore there's only one of them, so you can count the A elements in that group and you still have A. Alright, the next property we're going to talk about is the zero property of multiplication. And this just states if you have a number of A times 0, we're going to get 0. Okay, anything times 0 will always give us 0. If we have 4 times 0, 0, right? Okay, again, back to the group idea. This is saying you have no groups of 4. Well, how many people do you have in a group? None, right? Because there's no groups of them. So 0 times anything is always 0. Okay, and then finally the last property we'll talk about is the multiplication property of -1. And this one states that if you have a number a times -1, that a then will change signs. It'll become -a, or the opposite of a. All right. Okay, so if we have 4 times -1, that'll give us the opposite of 4, or -4. Okay, if we have -2 times -1, that'll give us the opposite of -2, which in this case is +2. Okay, so just think opposite when you see that -1 being multiplied by a number. All right, that's it for today, and we'll see you guys back in class.